So welcome to another edition of Disney Junior Parenting Hacks podcast. I'm joined now by lots of able voices. Sue Atkins, our parenting... I want to call you a guru, is that all right?
Oh, that's all right by me.
You are my guru. I feel like from now on, everything I think about with my kids, I'm like, is that all right,
Is that
Sue?
run it past Sue?
Yeah. Get you on speed dial. Also, Kate Murnane, social media content creator. Dave Nichols from the charity Break. Both of you have two boys, just be very clear, two separate boys.
Yeah.
Not one family. So between us, we have 6 boys under 4.
Yeah, we do.
How are we awake?
I don't know.
It's crazy. Boys are crazy. It's
boys.
hectic. Dave, we're going to start with a serious subject because we're talking about road safety. But obviously, you're a dad of 2 small boys and you represent Break. How do the theory and practice of road safety come together?
It is really difficult, isn't it? We know what it's like having children around roads. It's as a charity, we're always hearing from parents and from schools who are concerned about children around roads, and it's one of the main problems. But, I think it's just instilling good behaviour from an early age. I found with my children in particular, just engaging them, when I'm walking to the school or walking to the shops, just talking to them, making sure you hold their hands and why it's important for them to hold your hands, but also talking to them, when you're crossing the road, don't just stop and drag them across. Talk to them why you're stopping at the road, what you're looking for, what you're listening out for, and then walk with them. And it's, our oldest now, who's 4, will say that to our 2-year-old, is say, you've got to stop here, now you've got to look, and, oh, no cars, Daddy, no cars, and then you cross. So, they do listen to you. I know.
What are your boys called?
Jensen, who's 4, and Luca, who's 2.
Do they hold your hands, your kids? Because my eldest he'll hold the pram, doesn't really want to hold my hand.
Fortunately, mine do. It'd be bad if I was representing Break and they didn't, wouldn't they?
His kids like him more than me.
That could have been difficult. Yeah, mine do. I mean, we've got a 3rd on the way as well, actually. So we're glutton for punishment, I think. But that gets difficult, I think, once you've got 2 or more kids. If you've got a pushchair
2 hands.
and you've only got 2 hands and they suddenly outnumber you, which in just general is scary. But I think, by the road, you've got to make sure that they're holding on to something, even if it's just holding on to a buggy and making sure that they understand the simple rules. But children take it, you know what they're like. They're sponges. They take in so much information. And, actually, if you just talk to them and be good with them, then they'll understand that.
What are yours like, Kate?
I think it gets difficult the older they get, doesn't it? Because they want to be that little bit more independent. So I've always said with both of them when they were younger, hold my hand or get in the pram. I kind of give them the option, then they want to hold mummy's hand. Or now my eldest is a bit older, I say the similar thing. You can either hold my hand or hold the pram, and he's quite happy to hold on to his little brother's pram. But yeah, I think it's, like you say, talking to them and really explaining to them why it's important.
And it's getting them to understand that cars are dangerous, even just, get them to squidge their belly, that's soft, and a car's hard, and, the two don't mix, and that they have wheels and that they move fast. So, there's simple things that you can be talking in their language about, things that we understand, but they'll soon get the concept of.
I never thought of that. That's quite a good, relatable thing, yeah. One of my earliest memories of my son, when you first look at them, you think, oh, they've turned into a boy rather than a baby. He stood next to the road and bless him for ages, he just looked left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And I was like, okay, I think we've got that message into him. But he didn't really know what was going on. Do they understand? Is it important to get them to be aware of danger, or are we scaring them?
No, you have to talk and teach your children right the way from the beginning. But it's actually in your tone of voice. Do you mean business? Is this important? There's a big difference. Get down to their level, look them in the eye and explain that this is very dangerous and you must hold my hand on a busy road. Then you start talking about the road signs. Red means stop, the green means go. Listen to the cars, explain all the time, talk and teach them. This is where we stop at the zebra crossing because it keeps us safe. So keep on talking and teaching them, but there are times when you have to really make sure that they know that they can't just run off.
Is it important to sort of expose them to, to get them near busy roads, or should we be using TV programmes, for instance, to kind of say, look, this is the kind of thing you should be aware of?
Well, it's real life, isn't it? You can't avoid a road, but that's why the whole point then is to bring them gently to it, make sure you introduce the concept, not to scare them. This is not about terrifying them, but it is to keep them safe. Because I was saying the other day, I was coming down a busy road and there was a little toddler running off, and the dad, I could see the danger everywhere, and Dad was sort of not really really making the little girl hold his hand, and he did something with her hair or something, and then eventually, as they got to the traffic lights, he did hold her hand. And I thought there are some things that are non-negotiable, and I think that is why I liked your idea about the choice, though. As they get a bit older, do you want to hold on to the pram or hold my hand? Because they feel then they've got some sort of independent choice, which is really important when they're sort of a bit older.
There's an option, but it's still
it's
a safe
limited.
option.
It's always limited choices.
They never want to get in the pram, though, do they?
No.
I think as parents, it's about understanding it as well. If when's the last time we've seen a road from a 3-year-old's height? Next time you're with your child, actually, if you crouch down and get down to a child's height, you actually see what limited they can see, and what we always do, when we're walking with them, which is always good, isn't it? Is holding their hand and making sure they're on the inside. But sometimes we're sheltering them from the traffic. So when they cross the road, you wanted them to actually see what you can see and what you're looking out for.
And of course, you've got to model good behaviour yourself. Don't cut corners or cross in a funny place, because they'll notice.
I hate it when you're there at a traffic, you're at a zebra crossing or whatever, and then you're waiting for the green man, and then someone else comes and they just cross, and they're like, Daddy, why are they crossing? You're like, oh, because they're naughty. And you have to use
that as a teaching experience then. Use the everything to talk and teach them about the right and the wrong ways of doing it. Oh, yes, he's made a mistake, he's rushed across. Oh, but we don't do that, do we, Daddy?
But you can use things like Mickey and the Roads to Races to show multiple lanes of traffic and people racing and things that are fast, rather than taking them to a dual carriageway, right?
Oh, yes, of course. That's common sense, isn't it? But anything that you watch, you can talk and teach and use as a sort of a tool. So you've got real life and you've got those sorts of things, because it's getting them thinking and getting them learning how to do things for themselves.
Mine love their scooters and their bikes, but when they're going fast and they're racing because they like to have a race, that is when bad habits slip in, because we live on a quiet road.
Yes.
So they will go flying down to the park. What do I do there? What's the answer?
Well, the thing is to make sure that they know the difference and that you're on top of each scenario, so that if it's quiet, they can play and they understand that. But when it starts to get busy, you need to make sure that they know what to do if there is a problem. That's part of it too. It's not scaremongering, but it's also teaching them. It depends on how old they are too, doesn't it? Because you have to be flexible in how you talk about these things as they grow and mature and able to take on more information. Just keep talking and teaching them, but making sure that they understand that it is dangerous if they're not careful.
I think it's about identifying safe places for them as well. Yes. So, when you're walking, it's saying, well, this is a safe place for you to play on your scooter. Well, actually here, we're walking with the scooter and we're walking when we cross the road.
And
so you're not going out and we never run across. So, it's identifying those places, organisations like us try and create more open spaces and great places for people to play, but it's identifying this is a road where you don't do this is a park or your garden or wherever, and you can do that. But like you said, the cartoons are great. My youngest, because Mickey will wear a helmet on a scooter, brilliant, no problem getting a helmet on him. So actually TV programs can really assist them, can't they? Because they see that, and it doesn't matter as a parent, you can say anything, we're not cool. As much as I hope I am.
No,
but actually, thank you. But obviously, they suddenly see Mickey and Minnie and that wearing their helmets, and actually, where's my helmet? And my eldest had an operation last year in hospital, and actually to go down to the ward, they put them on a bike rather than on a chair. And the first thing he said was, "Oh, Dad, where's my helmet?"
You were like, yes, they taught him well. Yeah, well done.